In this demonstration, I will provision an Azure database for Postgre SQL resource in my Azure subscription. So once again, this is my Azure portal. Then I will go to the search and I will look for Postgre SQL. So this is what I'm looking for, Azure database for Postgre SQL flexible servers. So I will click that. Then from here, I'll need to click the create button so that I can create a new instance of the Postgre SQL server. I need to enter the required information so that I can create an instance of Postgre SQL server. So in the subscription, I'm going to leave it this way. In the resource group, it's going to be RG1. That is, I'm trying to create a new resource group. Then I'll move to the server details where I will need to supply the server name. Now, this server name, based on the information here, must be minimum of 3 characters and maximum of 63 characters. And server name must only contain lowercase letter, numbers, and hyphens. So in this case, I will just use Delany Postgre SQL server. Then for the region, I'm going to leave it this way, East US. For the Postgre SQL version, um, let's look at the list. We have up to version 17, but it's still at preview stage. So I'm going to leave it at version 16. And for the workload, it's going to be development. And for the compute plus storage of the workload, it's going to be 2V core, 4 GB of RAM, 32 GB of storage. And if I want to change this, I can go to the configure server, but I'm not going to do that right now. Then if I go to the availability zone, it's not even available. And this is based on the region. Look at it. It said selected region, East US doesn't support multiple availability zones. So it is because of this region, East US, that I selected. That is why this availability zone is not enabled. Now I'll move to the high availability. Now the high availability is what is disabled, and it's also based on the fact that East US region is actually selected. Now I'll move to the authentication, and under the authentication, I'm going to select the administrator login. For the administrator login, which is the username, I'm going to use SQL admin, and for the password, I'm going to enter a password. Then I'll move to the networking. And under the networking, you're going to see network connectivity. Under the network connectivity, we have connectivity method, which is public access, and we now have private access. Now, for this connectivity method, I'm going to leave it as a public access. What does that mean? It simply means that some IP addresses that we allow are the one that will have opportunity to be able to connect to this particular Postgre SQL. Now, if I leave it as a private access, it simply means that I can only use a VNet, to be able to have access to the Postgre SQL server. So I'm going to leave it this way. And Under the firewall rule, look at this, add current IP address. So I'm going to click this. After this, I will click review plus create, and it's telling me something on the basic. What's it saying? Let's go there. It said Microsoft Entra. Okay. For the authentication, I'm not going to talk about the Microsoft Entra authentication. So let me just use a Postgre SQL authentication only. I'll go back to the review plus create. You can see now, and I'll click create button. So it's actually validating the information, and if you look at what is happening now, is submitting the deployment. So I'm going to pause this video, and I'll be back once the service or this particular PostgreSQL server instance is ready. Now the deployment is complete, so I'll click go to resource. This actually take me to the overview of the PostgreSQL server. Now look at the endpoint. This is the endpoint that I'm going to use, by the time I want to connect to the PostgreSQL. And this is going to be the administrator login, SQL admin. So what I'm going to do now is to look for um, a client application so that I can use it to connect to the PostgreSQL. So I'm going to look for this pgadmin. Now you can go to Google, search for pgadmin, and you can download the Windows version or the iOS version if you are using iOS, or any other one. It depends on the operating system that you are using. Then after you downloaded it, you install it. So I've already done all of that, so I'm going to click on the pgadmin right now. So it's a pgadmin management tool for PostgreSQL, waiting for pgadmin 4 to start. Now that I have the pgadmin management tool for PostgreSQL, I'll come to the quick link and I'll click add new server. So under the name, I can say something like new SQL, and I'll move to the connection tab where I will paste the endpoints, and I'll paste it there, and I'll come to the username. What's the username here? SQL admin. I'll call it SQL admin. And for the password, I'm going to supply this. And I'll click save. And this is it. This is the new SQL. And if I expand this, if you notice, it's under what? The server. And it's telling me now that I have how many server? Just one server. Now, this is the databases. So if I want a new database now, this is the sample database, Postgre. And if I right click here, I should be able to create what? A new database. And from the database, I can begin to create different tables. So let's try and create a new database. I will come to the create and a new database. So let's say this database is for finance. Then the SQL admin is going to be the owner because that is the what? That is the login that we use to even sign into the server. So let me click save now. Do you see now that we have a new database? Finance. Let me expand the finance. You can see I have different template like cast and a host of other informations. So I can come here, right click finance and go to create and go to schema. So this schema is like what we refer to as a table in the Microsoft SQL Server. So if I click on the schema, this will allow me to give what? To give the schema a name, cash book, and I will save. You see, that's the schema, the what? The cash book. And from here now, I can now begin to, manage this. So this is just little information about how you can make use of Azure Postgre SQL Server. In this scenario, I created a new instance and I use pgadmin to log in to the new instance of the Postgre SQL Server in Azure. Thank you for watching. If you like what you saw, consider subscribing to this channel. Please let me know what you think in the comment section. And do not forget to leave a like and share this video. See you in the next one.